I'm from Chicago.
Cleveland.
Phoenix, Milwaukee,
Hartford,
Colorado, Oklahoma,
Thailand,
Norway, Cameroon.
and I chose
I chose
Xavier University.
for business,
chemical science,
Occupational therapy.
philosophy, politics, and the public.
Computer science.
Because it felt like home.
I knew I would be welcome.
Because they take care of veterans.
I felt connected to the campus.
To the people.
The sports.
I came here to be a musketeer.
And now,
I am.
I am.
I am.
All for one.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to EGFC Season 2, Week 11. I'm joined as always by the ever fabulous looking Stan Greyheart Barker, and today we have some fantastic games coming up for you. We've got William and Mary versus St John's University, Fairfield University versus Niagara University, and then the final game of the day, Marquette versus Xavier. Some absolutely fantastic games coming up, and the first game coming up, we've got William and Mary, who are on a bit of a hot streak at the moment.
They are indeed, after coming in from that big win last week that we got on stream. This is my third time joining you. Both the previous weeks we've only had the 2 matches to view due to some technical issues. Hoping that we get the full allotment tonight. Certainly will be absolutely cracking.
Yeah, it would be great to obviously get the full 3 games. And if you are a Manhattan fan, your team have a bye tonight due to obviously the differences of teams. There's 7 teams in the league, so they can't all play in one week. But either way,
Naturally.
Exactly. But either way, I'm pretty sure we are fairly close to getting to the game. It will be France versus Paris Saint-Germain. We've seen that one many a time, and I think Stan's starting to get sick of it already. But I, however, I don't mind it. I think obviously it's good to see Neymar and Mbappe play. Obviously heavily in the meta at the moment. So it is decent to see those players playing, but it would be nice to see some, some different sides, maybe some Brazils and stuff like that.
I actually really like this matchup because I think the thing that I really dislike is when you get the mirror matchup, or even where you get one of these 2 teams against someone without Mbappe in it, essentially.
Yeah.
At least here you get to see, for me, I think it's actually the first time I get to cast the difference between these 2 teams. You've spoken about it at length, how you've got the excellent defense that comes through from playing as the France team. You've got some, some nice counterplay with people like Ben Yedder. However, you go over to PSG and all of a sudden you've got Neymar on your team as a result. And so you've got that extra skill player up front. I personally, I've still slightly new to all of this, but I personally have liked what I've seen from PSG, especially over the last few weeks. I think it enables those players who know their skill moves well to really shine. However, this is actually a matchup both between William and Mary and St John's, and also between Paris Saint-Germain and France, that I'm very much so looking forward to.
That's very true. It's very true indeed. Obviously, I think the majority of the skill gap this year is the skills for sure, and it does show that obviously the players know what they're doing when you see them use skill moves that even I don't know how to do. Obviously, being a fantastic FIFA player myself, Definitely not. I can very barely average around gold 2, gold 1 at a push if I'm very lucky. But obviously this weekend, a football player that has in real life performed very well is currently injured. Diogo Jota, #1 in the world on PlayStation. So I would say the #1 player in the world this week, which is absolutely incredible. Players that are really good in real life coming through and showing, they can translate it onto the game version.
Absolutely remarkable. It actually led to a report on the BBC website talking about what's better, being a pro gamer or being a pro football player. Very interesting read. And that is a very interesting kit for PSG. I'm someone who likes to wear slightly flamboyant, somewhat garish colours on the football strips that I wear when I go and play five-a-side or with my friends when it's not a lockdown. And I have to say, I'm a fan of what I'm seeing here.
Yeah, I think they showed it off in one of their games the other day. I'm not too sure what game it was actually, but they did come out with a third kit on, and a lot of it went wild on social media. Loads of people were like, "What is this? It looks like something from another world." But yeah, I really rate some of the kits that have been coming through recently, the designs and stuff like that. It's very, very nice. As we should just about be ready to get underway with this action. William and Mary's versus St. John's University. Here we go.
Bring you straight into the game, and it says friendly on your screen, but I assure you it will be anything but friendly as we see these two universities going up against it here on the Big East. And we are underway. Game begins, and already France have the ball. Plot twist.
Yeah, France have the ball very, very early, which is good to see. But PSG do win it back. Obviously, you've got a lot of players playing for Paris Saint-Germain that are playing for France. Well, one or two. You got Mbappe giving the ball to Neymar Jr. Can he find it in the middle? Maybe you're just going to go for that near post shot. Great tackle from Langley.
Yeah, breaking up that early opportunity. Already seeing some of those skill moves that I was referring to during the pre-game. Now the opportunity to break down the opposite wing. It's going to be Martial, the Man United striker, of course, in the French national colours. In this game, feeds through Mbappe. The ball is beautifully saved. PSG once again breaking it. Is end-to-end at the beginning of this match.
Very end-to-end indeed. And Mbappe going to come straight down the other end, looking for that LB fake shot to maybe use a little bit more of his pace, but Langley does well once again. Very good defending in the early moments of this game from St. John's University. William and Mary. St. John's University are in the PSG kit, the PSG third kit in the red indicator above the teams.
Is going to be broken up yet again. Some strong defending, as you said, but they're having to do a lot of defending. And as you often see in these top games, the team that has to do the most defending is usually the team the most under threat. The question is, can they make these counter-attacks play off?
Yeah, it did throw me off guard a little bit. I expect when I see the red indicator, I always think the home team, but it's actually the white indicator above the heads, which is William and Mary. And William and Mary potentially going to get a chance. It's Kylian Mbappe with the first shot of the game, and it's going to go drilling into that bottom left-hand corner. There is the celebration, and there is the goal. William and Mary 1-0 up here.
St. John's being made to rue their earlier errors as they got the ball consistently dispossessed from them in the final third. No such mistake comes through from William and Mary. France with the early lead over PSG, but now Neymar Jr. on the counter-attack yet again. It's going to be that mixture of Varane and Langley just dispossessing St. John's every time they step forward.
What I will say is St. John's, they're the top team in the league. Well, they were the top team in the league, and I'm pretty sure they're still one of the best teams in the league, top of the table at the moment. And it's very interesting to see William and Mary obviously coming into this second half of the season, the spring split with new players, and well, something's got to be changed in the water because they're playing absolutely ridiculous.
Definitely true. Perhaps a new player, or perhaps just a revitalization through the water of the existing players. Neymar Jr. has been fed through. St. John's looking to try and equalise. Breaking free of Varane and Langley is fine. If you're going to send the ball into the waiting hands of Hugo Lloris, then there's really no danger for the W&M defence.
Yeah, Lloris does well there. Obviously, a little bit too close to the goalkeeper. Obviously, you've got to remember it's a new game as well. FIFA 21 rather than FIFA 20. The winter split was being played on FIFA 20, so obviously brand new game, lots of new tactics, lots of new skills. The gameplay is completely different as well, as Martial looks to come into the box, does a few step overs, exits. Kimpembe does very well though, and they get it away only as far as Bernat, but they should be fairly easily to play out of the back from here.
Yeah, the Man U connection there of Pogba Martial was briefly working out quite nice as we see St. John straying offside. Let's see whether or not that's a connection that continues to pay out really nicely for William and Mary. They're certainly, for me, actually looking like the better side in this first half, not just on the score sheet.
Yeah, William and Mary looking really decent. We'll see if they can obviously get a second goal here, as Kimpembe does really well again and ushers Mbappe out of the way so it can roll out for the goal kick. But really well played from the Frenchman there. Obviously, he's not quite broke his way into the French national team yet, because you've got Lenglet and Varane at centre-back, but he's very young, so I would expect to see him break in there at some point, maybe in replace for Lenglet.
Marco Verratti finds Neymar Jr., plays the ball back out to the Argentinian Angel Di Maria. Neymar Jr. released down the wing, perhaps looking to cut inside. Instead, looks to the shot. The deflection will not quite fall favourably for St. John's, and yet again, it's going to be William Mary on the counter-attack.
Yeah, we'll see if they can make anything of this one, as it's broken down a few times, but here we go. It's Kylian Mbappe through on goal. It's 1v1. The goalkeeper movement. The near post is completely wide open, and Kylian Mbappe will shoot. He will score, and that's going to be 2-0 now to William and Mary.
Absolute scenes here as the lower seeded team are running away with the first half. Remember, this is the first half of a best of 2 game, so we've got 4 halves of football in total, which is just a confusing statement, frankly. But it is the early lead through the first half for William and Mary, but this could be pulled back somewhat now, and it is going to be 2-1 as St. John's finally find the gap and Mbappe scores at the other end of the pitch.
I'm not quite sure what to make of that one, because Lloris came out and he looked like he should have saved that. Yeah, I'm not too sure what to make of it, but obviously St. John's now reducing
at least
the
he
gap.
didn't pick his own centre-back.
Very true. Very true. Alisson Becker, obviously. A few mistakes as of late in the Liverpool kit. Unfortunate.
I will say I felt your pain on that one, because for me, there's no way the first goal from Leicester should have stood, and would the second goal have really happened if that happened? Meanwhile, a second goal has happened for St. John's. They have equalised. Suddenly, 7 minutes after the second goal from William and Mary, St. John's have found 2 of their own.
What an absolutely incredible pass. I wasn't sure who sent it, but I think it was Verratti, and just straight in behind, made it look absolutely easy. And William and Mary maybe just resting a little bit, sitting back, just going, oh, we got the 2-0 lead, we can relax a bit now. You can never relax against the league leaders. They have shown time and time again why they are so good at FIFA, and looking for a pass in behind there. Griezmann couldn't quite make it. Let's see if St. John's are going to keep going from strength to strength here and maybe get another one.
Neymar Jr. showing the skill. St. John's breaking through, looking to make it 3, unable to do so. However, if the first half was all about William and Mary, who I don't think is Harry, then the last 15 minutes have been all about St. John's. William and Mary trying to change that one up, trying to regain the lead, going into half-time. Mbappe holding the ball up, perhaps looking to cut inside, but again, great defensive work from Kimpembe.
Kimpembe's got Mbappe's number in quite a few of these defensive situations. Ball whipped into the area. Diving header comes in, but just wide. We'll go out for another corner, and we'll see if they can make anything of this one now, as Pogba looks to whip it into the area. Might just go short, does choose to do so. Gives it to Mbappe, could potentially whip it in. Chooses to hold it up. Nice little flip-flap. Goes for the pot of gold and can't quite find anything at the end of it. It's another corner, though.
Yeah, nodded away at the last moment by the St. John's defender, denying Mbappe from his third at this end of the pitch. The ball's going to get punched out once more. Martial looking to try and find something. He'll hold the ball up. He'll find himself. Hernandez. In goes Griezmann, trying to find the end of this ball, but it is going to be half-time. It's going to be 2-2, and what a game we've had to start things off here.
Wow. What a absolutely fantastic game we have had so far between these two teams. It's been absolutely incredible stuff, end-to-end. Really good counter-attacking football, and I will be really interested to see who will take this one home, because, well, it's been neck and neck so far, hasn't it? Let's be honest.
It really has. I mean, even looking at the stats there, it could not be much tighter. Even that first half was a game of 2 halves, with the first half very much so going in favour of William and Mary as the French team find that 2-0 lead. That's been pulled back now, and it needs to be a strong mental game from the underdogs to make sure they don't slip at all further behind before the second leg even arrives.
One thing I will say, I'm surprised we haven't seen a five at the back in this game, to be honest. We've seen a lot of five at the back tactics been pulled out this weekend. It's come straight back into the meta. I'm not really too sure why. Obviously, a few tweaks and changes have come from EA, and a lot of the players have decided that this is the new top formation other than the 4-2-3-1. Obviously, a lot of people dropping it and looking for the five at the back. It obviously gives you a lot of defensive safety with the five, and then you've got the two wing backs that can push forward when you're in the attack. So it does give you that little bit of versatility that 4-2-3-1 also brings.
Here's the breakthrough yet again. Mbappe trying to get on the ball, under the ball from Griezmann, not able to do so on this one. I must say, I really do like the amount of small tweaks we get to this game coming from EA. It does feel like it's very much adapt to survive here, and that certainly brings a unique amount of versatility to the game where you get change the formations, even if it's always Paris Saint-Germain and France. They're always playing in a different way. The ball breaks into the box. It's cleared yet again by Raphael Varane. Did so well in the early parts of the first half before conceding 2 goals. We do see Draxler fighting the ball through. Again, Varane makes the ball go straight out of play.
Paul's going to come out here by St John's University, potentially going to bring on some players. Yeah, I don't think you'd bring in Keane on for Neymar or Mbappe. This is the one problem with Paris Saint-Germain as opposed to France. It's just there's not really any decent players on the bench. You've got Icardi, but he's just got no pace on his base player, his base stats. So it's a little bit difficult. But talking about adaptability is something that I think is the one thing we do see change a lot from year to year with FIFA. That's why we see so many different pro players come through every year, because the gameplay changes every year. It's a difficult world to be in if you're a pro player trying to make FIFA your top game. But obviously it does really it's really an interesting game to watch, because, well, not every week, but every time they bring out a patch, there's different tactics that people will use and different little gameplay strategies.
I, for one, have very much been enjoying what I've been seeing of it in the last few weeks. Verratti finds Mbappe, back to Verratti, edge of the D. Mbappe tries to make forwards. Oh, forces the save. Low to the left, diving is Lloris.
Beautiful flip-flap into the shot. Couldn't quite get the power on it, though. Whipped in, cleared away from Lenglet, but should retain the ball here. St John's should be able to pick it back up and look to pick the defence apart again, and they've done it! And it's Mbappe. He's poached the goal in the 60th minute, and that man, he scored so many goals for both sides, and that goal came from well and truly nothing.
I think he scored 4 of the 5 goals on display here, 2 for each team. The first 30 minutes, I've said it before, I'll say it again, was dominated by William and Mary, but since then, in the last 13 minutes, they have barely had a sniff of the ball, and the last 3 goals, all in favour of St John's, who take the lead in this tie.
That was just such a good pass, and passing with purpose. Every pass had so much pace on it, but every player knew exactly where the next one was going to be. Neymar giving the ball down the wing. Can he find Mbappe? He should be able to. Can he find the finish? Not this time. Hugo Lloris will get the ball back.
Yeah, nice play from Lloris, but he might be called into action again. Mbappe just finds the side netting with that one.
Should be hitting the target there, Mbappe. And as you can see, Mbappe with 9 shots across the game for both teams. Obviously, I would probably say one of the best players in the world, obviously. I feel like in the next 2 years, he'll probably be known as the best player in the world. Obviously, we've got Ronaldo and Messi, who probably will retire in the next 2 or 3 years. So we shall see. But I definitely think he's going to be known as the best player in the world at some point.
I think it's certainly going to start coming down to a conversation between him and Haaland, the way things are going at the moment, certainly as strikers go. Meanwhile, in this game, there is no contest for the top player. The only question is, for which team has he been the best? As you can see by the stats there, for St John's, the 6 shots, for William and Mary, just the 3. And that also describes quite nicely how heavily dominant St John's have been since conceding those early goals. As we hit the 70-minute mark, Mbappe comes forwards again, forcing another save out of Lloris with his 7th shot for St John's of the game.
I think William and Mary just need to hang on here. Don't concede any more goals, because they played really well in the early knock-ins of this game. But now the floodgates are really open. It's been chance after chance for St John's, and we shall see. Beautiful rainbow flick from Di Maria. Can he get the ball back? No. Potentially could have been a penalty there. There was a little bit of a coming together between 2 of the players, but obviously the referee said there wasn't enough in it. Straight down the other end, potentially a chance for William and Mary.
This is going to be Mbappe at the other end, trying to get his fourth shot on target, trying to find his third goal for William and Mary, twisting
Beautiful.
one way and the other, finds Martial, but immediately that play broken up very, very nicely. Ball sent forward now. It's going to be Di Maria trying to burst through, trying to get away from Lenglet, able to do so far, being harried out to the edge of the box, passing it back inside, finding Draxler, but dispossessed by Hernandez. And now this is an opportunity for William and Mary to break because St. John's have committed men forward.
Really end-to-end football. Really end-to-end. Martial breaking down the wing, looking to try and get it into the area. He's going to probably try and take on Kimpembe here. But we've seen throughout this game how clinical, how, well, he's just been an absolute force in the defence for Paris Saint-Germain, Kimpembe, for St. John's University. He's been absolutely insane. Ball played out by Keylor Navas, going to go out for William and Mary throw-in as they look to potentially try and equalise before the full-time whistle, but I don't think it's the end of the world. If they can hold on by one goal, it will look good for them going into the second game.
Mbappe finds a bit of space, but closed down again by that man, Kimpembe. And of course, our attention is always towards the players rather than the actual football players. But Neymar Jr. is the one breaking forward, finding a fourth goal for St. John's. You said it was crucial for William and Mary to not concede. They have not been able to do that. They lose out on one in the 83rd minute of this game.
Well, we spoke about adapting earlier in the game, and I think that's what St. John's have done so well in this one. They came out of the gates, William and Mary, firing everything they had. They were just throwing everything at them, and St. John's obviously now know what they're going to go for. They've adapted really well, started retaining the possession, slowing things down a little bit. But yeah, either way, this has been a really good game, very competitive, which is nice to see. Obviously, last split, we didn't really see that competitive edge from William and Mary. Ball played through, Lenglet intercepts. We saw the competitive side. We didn't really see too much competitiveness from William and Mary. They did struggle. They really did struggle, and it was obviously difficult to watch, but they've looked very good in this game.
Mbappe trying to help his team pull one
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back to EGFC Season 2. My name is George DNC, joined by Stan Greyheart Barker, and we are ready to kick off underway here with the second leg of William and Mary versus St John's University. Currently 5-3 on aggregate to St John's University, and we shall see if William and Mary can make a miracle comeback.
One big change to talk about. We are going to see Barcelona versus France this time in comparison to our PSG France matchup last time. So let's see if Messi and co can do anything to stop these French Titans from picking up the win. Already good aggression coming in from this Barcelona team. They find their way into the box. The break will come.
Yes, good start to the game. Nice to see. Obviously, we shall see if William and Mary have what it takes to beat the league leaders here in this one. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, blue champs for St John's University. He's the player we do see a fair amount for them, and he's going to make his way into the box with Martial. Going to go for the curved shot. It's going to come out to Kingsley Coman. Great clearance off the line from Jordi Alba, I think that was.
Honestly, I really expect to see this French team score there, but denied they were. William and Mary the opportunity to break now, trying to find early goals like they did in the first match. They need them with this 5-3 deficit.
They do indeed. They need to get a few goals, and it's going to be S. Billy. See if he can. I'm probably butchering his name completely, but either way, you know, they need to score a couple of goals to get back into this game. So we'll see if they can do that. Obviously, Barcelona, an interesting talking point. Messi comes to the end of his year, but you've still got quite a few decent young players in there. You've got the likes of De Jong, and here's a chance for Kylian Mbappe. Gives it to Kingsley Coman with a shot. Good save from Ander Stegen once again.
Yeah, that's going to be enough for Barcelona to come away with the ball. They're taking a huge amount of pressure, keep losing the ball in their own half. The counterattacks keep coming. This French squad looking so strong in the early going. Can they find themselves yet another goal? Put a little bit more breathing distance between them and William and Mary. Look at the aggression coming through from St John's. They try to just bamboozle their way forward, and from 25 yards, an absolute belter of a goal. It's that man, Paul Pogba.
I'm surprised he didn't come up with a dab, but unfortunately the dab has been removed from FIFA 21. But yeah, it has. So that and the shush got removed. But either way, fantastic goal from Pogba, an absolute screamer, an absolute belter. And 3 goals down now, William and Mary. Unfortunately for them, we'll see if they can do anything here in this game. It's going to be difficult, but it is Coutinho going for that curved finesse shot on the left foot rather than the right. A little bit of a difficult angle, but tried to make it work.
The dramatic clearance coming through there from the French centre-back. It has actually led to a nice counter-attack. It's going to be Kingsley Coman running through the Barca defence like a knife through butter, finding the back of the net, and suddenly it's 7-3 on aggregate.
Oof. This is now... this is going to be a really difficult game for William and Mary, blue champs, obviously. We've seen him play quite a few times before. He was in the spring split, the winter split, the first half of this season. He did struggle quite a few times against some of the bigger players, but so far in this game, obviously not having too much luck. We'll see if he can do anything. Obviously, as we get deeper into this game, still got a lot of time left, but he now needs to get 4 goals just to tie this one up.
Yeah, just to force extra time, and that is a big ask for anyone, never mind playing against this St John's team that have looked so dominant, not just today, but previously in this season. Barcelona are countering, they're trying to find themselves a goal. They want to break the clean sheet. Hugo Lloris standing tall, letting his defence do their work, and they're doing it absolutely fine. Luca Dean actually finding the clearance out near the corner flag.
Yeah, the Everton man doing very well. Ball whipped into the area, Sergio Busquets. Obviously, another player coming towards the end of his career for Barcelona. Got quite a lot of, players that are looking like they're, starting to come towards the neck end of their career. Obviously, bringing in quite a few decent young players. De Jong looking for the long shot. Messi looking for the shot. Can't quite find anything. That wasn't Messi, sorry. I'm not sure who that was. But yeah, they've brought quite a lot of young talent, which is nice to see. But that's the problem with Barcelona at the moment. They really do not have very much money, apparently.
Kante and Mende doing enough to bring the ball out for a corner which is cleared evidently by Hugo Lloris. The ball is won back, however, by Felipe Coutinho as he tries to take the ball inside, gets caught just as he pulls the trigger, but no free kick given. Still wins the header back, still finds Messi, who twists and turns his way into the box, is dispossessed, however. Pogba now the opportunity to lead to a break.
Yeah, that's the problem. France on the break, they're so dangerous, they're so destructive. Mbappe on the ball, goes for a rainbow flick, a little bit unnecessary maybe, but he doesn't care. Fake shot goes around Jordi Alba, looking to get the ball into the box, but we all know he's not going to whip it into the box. He's going to go for a bit of skills. Might do it this time. Fake shot, good tackle in the end, but it is just currently the St. John Esports show. They are just running circles around William and Mary currently. It's a hard game for them, but we'll see if they can do anything coming forward on this break. No, they cannot.
Credit to William and Mary's real defensive positioning on that one, because at first it was taxi for Alba, but then he made the clearance. Now it's led to an attack, which is broken up yet again by a block, not even bringing Hugo Lloris into action. Counter-attack coming through. Kingsley Coman running it down the right wing, finding Griezmann. Went for the 1-2, broken up by that man Jordi.
I will say it's a little bit predictable there with Messi. Obviously, everybody knows Messi's left foot is the one that you want to get it onto. But there's nothing wrong for using it, getting it on the right foot and just having a punt at the near post. I see it so many times, players using Salah, Messi, just trying to force it onto the left foot so they can get a shot off. Just use it on the right foot, shoot at the near post. Honestly, a lot of players do, like, they underrate it. They don't quite give it the props it deserves. There's a chance here, whipped in, great header, but just hits a side net, and it will be a goal kick for William and Mary.
Can't Kylian the Zillion, and right now you can't stop the Kylian. It is going to be the breakthrough coming. Griezmann obviously on both teams in this game. This time it's the one with the Barcelona shirt bringing the ball forward. Lenglet managing to dispossess, but does so via a foul.
I can't believe you just brought a League of Legends pun onto the FIFA show. I cannot believe
really?
you've done this.
You can't believe it, really?
De Jong with a chance. It is going to go straight into the path of a France player, and now another chance to counter-attack. Biscuits does well, but he gets dispossessed, and PK wins the ball back once again. One of the older players in the team, but one of the players who is obviously very reliable.
Would love to see William and Mary pull one back on the stroke of half-time, but yet again, the block is so good from St. John's, never allowing an inch for these strikers to find the target. Potential for the counter as again we see Alba sliding in, ball's taken around him. Lenglet now trying to do what he can to stop Coman in his tracks. The only thing that stops Coman is his woeful inaccuracy.
A little bit unlucky there. Obviously, ball on the bounce. It just went over the bar. A little bit difficult, but the half-time whistle being blown. St. John's University currently in the lead by 4 clear goals. It is looking very, very good for them.
Certainly is 7-3 with just one half of football left to play. I am wondering if there is any chance at all for William and Mary really to pull this one back. It doesn't feel great for them, but I do credit the fact they've put up a brave fight.
Yeah, obviously you've got to give them props. It's a very difficult game for them. You know, top of the table, they came out fighting with the 2 goals in the early stages of the first game. Then they got the penalty. They got another goal back, brought it down to just a 1-goal deficit. But ever since then, it's just looked impossible for them. Coman once again in the box and goes for a shot that isn't probably very likely to go in, but goes for it nonetheless.
Coman's had a few of those this game. Maybe one will nestle at the back of the net by the end of this match. I'm sure William and Mary will hope not. They'll be hoping they can find a goal on this counter-attack, but yet again, it's not to be. The defence so solid from St. John's in this game, really using this French solid defence to an absolute T. But this is an opportunity to break through yet again. The clearance comes through, and Luca Dean, more known for his corners usually than his slide tackling, doing absolute work.
Yeah, he's putting in a shift here in this game, isn't he? The French defence looking very, very good indeed. But obviously, you know, they've got such an insanely good defence. Mendy, Varane, Lenglet. There's just so many players in that defence. Here comes Kingsley Coman coming forward. Can he find the shot? Looks for the fake shot, and it will go out for a corner kick.
Corner will immediately be delivered right into the box. Free header almost for Rafa Varane, who will be asking how he didn't do better.
Yeah, that's one thing I will say about corners and heading in this FIFA. They aren't really the greatest. It's one of those games where you, even if you're in a crossing position, you never really cross it in. You look to go for the skill run kind of thing. But chance for Messi here. Great touch, great shot. But the goalkeeper's done so well. That really should have been a goal for William and Mary.
One of the first times Hugo Lloris has been called into action and was not found wanting. Leo finds his shot blocked. Meanwhile, the pressure is being put down by William Mary as they try to find themselves some way back into this match, but it's just not happening. And the counter-attack comes through. Marshall just skips past Dest with ease. This is going to be the Man United player breaking onto the edge of the 24-yard box. He takes the ball all the way through, pulls the trigger, blocked at the very last second by the Barca defender. And it's actually enough to make it a goal kick.
Yeah, it was really, really close there. Probably should have scored. Once again, I feel like I'm the near post police currently because I'm shouting at players, why didn't you go near post? But seriously, nobody uses the near post. It's so frustrating. Goalkeepers are really bad at the near post this year, and I find it difficult to watch when people don't use it. But either way, they're winning by so many. I'm pretty sure they don't really mind too much not scoring it. They're just trying to score some fancy goals. Here's a chance for Leo Messi. Can he score a fancy goal of his own? We'll take it on the right foot, but deflection, corner kick.
Yeah, the GOAT not quite managing to make it work on this occasion. Ball comes out on the edge of the box of Lenglet. He threads the ball through. Strike goes over the bar, and that is pretty much time running out for William & Mary to come back into this one. Still 4 goals down on aggregate, 25 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, not long to go at all. Not long to go at all now, and we shall see if there's another goal potentially in it for St. John's University. Mbappe is going to go out for a corner. It's hard to watch, obviously, because it was such a good start to the game and it was very end-to-end, but now it's just kind of feeling like a bit of a one-sided one. But there is a chance for Pogba there. Cleared away, though, and Messi now. The one-man Messi team, I feel like Barcelona are at this point. Oh, my word.
What a lovely strike. That one may be the one that ends this game as a contest. Mbappe, yet again, the 69th minute, finds a nice goal and is going to make it now 8-3 on aggregate, I believe. It's certainly looking a bit too much to come back from as PK fouls on the edge of the box, giving it over. I want to give credit to America's. Up until that moment, they had managed to not concede in this half of football. They looked even likelier to score potentially. Unfortunately, their defence is broken down there, as we saw by Mbappe yet again.
I do feel still like William & Mary have improved a lot this season.
Absolutely.
Compared to the last split, which is obviously really nice to see. But when you're coming up against the top team in the league, even if you do improve a lot, it's still nice to see the little wins, like taking the 2-0 lead. It's nice to see. Not conceding as many goals as you conceded last game in this game. Obviously, we've still got 15 minutes to go, so they could potentially. But it's the little victories you've got to take when you are looking to improve and when you're trying to bounce back. But chance maybe to score a goal here. Could have played the ball through. Not this time.
Yet again, it's going to be Griezmann running it down this end of the pitch, finding Messi, the header straight into Lloris's arms, and unsurprisingly, as goalkeepers tend to do in the modern era, he goes straight to the ground, but he might have to be back on his feet to deal with another attack. Ball is going all over the place, an absolute pinball wizard moment. William & Mary unable to convert it into a goal, however.
Yes, obviously William & Mary, 3-0 down in this game currently, but they have had a few chances in this game. They're looking decent. It's just a few things they need to improve. But here comes Messi. Can they potentially get a goal? The header comes through and it will go for a goal kick. It was a little bit unlucky. Bounced off the defender's header first and couldn't quite meet the second header. But, I think it's been a good showing for William & Mary. I'll be interested to see what they can do next week in the next game.
It has indeed, but it's been yet another dominant performance from a team playing as France as they look to try and find their 4th goal of this game. Unable to do so just yet, but the ball is back at Koeman's feet as he looks to find a strike, trying to redeem his earlier misguided efforts. The ball now breaks to Griezmann. He is the wrong side of the defenders. He's being tugged back, surely, but the ref says no. Griezmann tries to win it back, but the ball will go safely out over to Lenglet on the left.
Yeah, exactly. William & Mary obviously coming up against Xavier next week in the clash of the two teams that both need to improve this season. Both need to have a bit of a better split, but we shall see as Dion comes forward with the ball. Can't quite find the shot. Could have seen potentially a penalty. Griezmann gives it to Dembele, and there it is. William & Mary get themselves a goal. They get themselves a goal. They break the clean sheet for St. John University. Although it's not going to mean too much in the result, it's the little victories.
does no less than they deserve as well in this game to at least make sure they get the one goal and reduce that aggregate deficit somewhat. Absolutely feel it's deserved by them. I do believe St. John's easily deserve to come out victors in this game, but full credit to William & Mary for making it a contest. This has by no means been a complete battering. The chip, it's a cheeky one that's just about denied by Andre ter Stegen as the ball comes away, but is again dispossessed. It's going to be Kante, the absolute machine, finding Pogba, the slightly more temperamental machine.
Well, there you have it. That should just about be the full-time whistle coming in. Obviously, the one goal back for William & Mary, I'm sure they will be very happy with at least getting one goal back. But here we go. That is the full-time whistle being blown, and St. John's University will win by, what's that, 8 goals to 4?
What was the final score in that particular one?
It was 5-3 in the first result.
5-3 in the first, so
it's
yeah,
eight,
you're absolutely right.
yeah.
8 to 4, double the goals. I wouldn't say double the dominance. I do think that William Mary had a really good showing on that one, but full credit St. John showing why they're so near to the top of the table. Great performance from them.
Great performance indeed. Obviously, William & Mary, you know, they're looking to improve this season, and I think that is definitely them showing that they can improve, and they have improved. Obviously, coming up against the top of the table team in St. John's University. I think they've done very well in that regard, but obviously we have many more games to come yet today. So let's have a quick look at the schedule before we get into the next game's action. We have got Fairfield University versus Niagara University. So two very middle of the pack teams, I think I'm right in saying. Two middle of the pack teams coming up against each other in this game. Niagara, well, they were third in the table, and Fairfield were fourth in the table as of last week. So we shall see how they get on in this game. Obviously fighting now for, well, potentially a win, maybe to come first in this league.
That will be a good one to watch. At the end of the day, we'll get to see Marquette up against Xavier. But for now, I think we get ourselves just a short break to refresh. Am I right?
You are right indeed, Stan. So we'll catch you in a few minutes, and we'll be back with Fairfield University versus Xavier. Sorry, not Xavier University, Niagara University. We'll be back in a moment. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to EGFC Season 2. My name is George GNC, followed by my good friend Stan Greyheart Barker, as we look to go into tonight's second game of the evening. Fairfield University versus Niagara University. It should be an absolutely fantastic game. Two middle of the pack teams going head to head in tonight's action. And I'm pretty sure we are about ready to get underway with tonight's game. So how are you feeling going into this one? Obviously it's going to be Liverpool versus France this time.
Oh, interesting. That's a new one to see matched up against this French team that, of course, we see so often. I'm feeling great. I'm looking forward to what is hopefully going to be a really close end-to-end game. Let's be honest, isn't that what everyone hopes for when they tune into a football match? And as a West Brom fan, it's not something I get to see very often.
Drew 1-1 with United last night, though, no?
Now, to be fair, I'd argue we were unlucky not to get all 3 points. And if our main striker could have found the back of the net again, then maybe that's what we would have done. But no, it was not to be. Point is usually good against United, but our team desperately need 3 wherever they can find them. So I think we're pretty much doomed for a championship season next year, much as you're probably doomed for around about 2nd or 3rd place.
Well, Handels have still got the commentary on like he did last week. He clearly does not. Clearly does not listen to my requests in the captain's meeting. But either way, we are the commentary team, and great save from Hugo Lloris in the early knock-ins of the game. Bobby Firmino almost with a chance to score there.
Yeah, certainly something that Firmino's used to, doing that absolute cracker of a header against Tottenham earlier in the season to win that leg that left Mourinho fuming. Now it's Martial breaking down the right wing, cutting back inside, finding Ben Yedder, who we didn't see too much of in our last tie. I'm not entirely sure he was on the pitch. Pogba is going to play the ball inside, finding Ben Yedder once again. He turns this way, he turns that, he looks back to Kante, who plays the ball forward, is going to find Mbappe, but he's just offside in what was an extended period of play for Fairfax.
Yeah, offside, coming from an offside position, but either way, good little bit of pass and play, and it'll be interesting to see how Fairfield get on in this one. Obviously, Handels Handels is playing for Niagara, so Fairfield are France, and then Niagara are Liverpool, but there's a chance here for Handels. Can't quite find the shot. It is blocked away. Fabinho, though, steamrolling through the defence, somehow finding a way to get a cross in. Not too sure how, and now looking for a counter-attack and bit of play is Fairfield University.
Yeah, apologies to Fairfield, who I'm sure will have been none too pleased to have been called Fairfax, but I'll attempt not to make that error again. As we do see the continued play, it's a little bit more cautious than the end-to-end play we saw in match 1 of the evening.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I think it's nice to see a bit of slower football every so often. Gives us a bit of a chance to talk a bit more about the match and what's going on. It also gives the players a chance to maybe build something a little bit less sloppy. Obviously, with full throttle football, going end to end, it does tend to get a bit sloppy. Some of the passes don't tend to get thought about too much. They just throw them in where they can. But here is a chance for Liverpool.
Thiago finds Firmino, looks at the shot, it's going to be deflected wide for a corner.
I'm on a lot of the Liverpool fan pages on Facebook and Twitter, and there's a header. It's going to be Joe Gomez who gets in there, and Fairfield University have taken the lead. They've taken the first goal, and it is one of the most unlikely sources, the Englishman Joe Gomez.
What a cracker from Gomez, and what a celebration to match. Well deserved. The cop goes wild.
They do indeed, and I can't remember. Oh yeah, so I'm on quite a few of the Liverpool fan pages and the Liverpool forums, and I can't believe my eyes on some of the things that I see on there. A lot of people saying that Thiago is the problem with Liverpool. Probably got as soon as he come in, we start losing, and they're saying all he brings is negative football, passing it back all the time, and talk of Klopp potentially getting the sack, and I'm just absolutely unbelievable. But here is a chance for Kylian Mbappe. Can't quite find the ball roll required to get in behind the defence.
My dad's a massive Liverpool fan, so I have to have all these conversations on a pretty near daily basis, and I have my own thoughts on it, which we'll certainly discuss in a moment. But right now, we've got to pay our attention to the attack coming through, as Firmino is so strong here on the ball, stronger than I've ever seen him in real life. He loops the ball through, it's clawed out the air by Lloris. A second save was not even forced, however, as the follow-up header goes just narrowly wide. And by narrowly, I mean massively.
That was a country mile wide. I'm not sure what Wijnaldum was doing. It was an open goal. All he had to do was just give it a bit of air, but completely fluffed it in the end. And maybe now's your chance to tell me your opinions then on Liverpool season then.
I mean, Klopp is clearly under a huge amount of pressure at the moment, both in terms of results and just in personal life as well. I think I saw that his mother had recently passed, which is obviously a horrendous thing, and maybe he does need a bit of time to just go and reset, potentially. Do I think that's the problem? No, if I'm honest, because as we see this fantastic strike coming through, we've seen obviously that even before that sad news was broken, that Liverpool have been in something of a slump. In fact, since their draw against West Brom, actually, it felt like that slump started. For me, the biggest problem is that I think a lot of teams have worked out how to play against Liverpool. I don't like Thiago as a tackler at all. I feel like he's going to get sent off in every match I watch him, but I don't have an issue with his passing. I think he has wonderful creativity, as we're seeing here from France as well. Ball breaks back to them here on the edge of the area, looking for potential shot. Ben Yedder is going to be just hovering, waiting, looking to try and draw a foul potentially, just waiting to pull the trigger, looking for the right opportunity. Will it come? Mbappe, he finds himself an opening, and it's going to be 1-1.
Wow, fantastic bit of play from France. Fantastic bit of play from Niagara to find that goal. It was absolutely beautiful. It was absolutely wonderful stuff. Just a pass and the little bit of the stop and hold the ball, wait for the player to commit, the La Croqueta, pass to Mbappe, the turn, the shot. It was all just picture perfect in that situation, and absolutely wonderful stuff as they equalise up in this game. So we shall see if how this game turns out. Obviously, both of these teams very, very evenly matched in terms of the table, the tournament table, and in terms of both players and teams playing. So we shall see how this one turns out. But 1-1 is currently, what I would say is about right 33 minutes into the game.
Yeah, I agree. The two teams seem to have been playing different styles, with Liverpool having come out and consistently every time they've got the ball, tried to push forward, aggressive counter-attacking. But as you see, France, they've opted into more of a slow build-up passing maneuver, trying to find the shot, like that one, which almost found a second goal from Mbappe.
Very, very close. Very, very almost a goal there from Kylian Mbappe. Obviously, he scores so often, and the volley. Oh, that was absolutely ridiculous from Griezmann.
A volley rather than a header. Wow.
Yeah, he kind of just put his foot up in the air, and he didn't really put any power on it. He just tried to direct it into the back corner, but a little bit unfortunate. It was really nice to see either way. Nice bit of creativity, and potentially now a chance for Handels of God to put his stamp on the game. Can't quite get the ball, but does win it back with Jorginho, Wijnaldum. Thiago now just gets run down by Kimpembe.
It does indeed, and the passing once again is smooth, fluid stuff from this French team. The 1-2 breaks open the opportunity for a shot, and the beautifully weighted chip over the head of Alisson is enough to see France take a 2-1 lead.
Wow. What a goal from Ben Yedder. What a finish, I think, is the main thing. It was the correct decision making, though, I will say, from Handels with the I can't remember what it was. It was Alisson coming out to try and squish the ball down, but he then realised obviously he's not going to go for a shot early, so he has to kind of scramble back.
Quick check: is it Fairfield that are 2-1 up or Niagara? Because I thought it was Fairfield.
No, it's Niagara because yes, sorry, it is Fairfield. You are right. These teams are playing the wrong way round. How frustrating!
I may be wrong there, so please.
No, you are right.
If I've led you up the garden path on that one. Again, the attack comes through. France find the ball on the edge of the box. Been so good with their passing so far. Yet again, Martial finding himself an opening, trying to work a way to shoot. Is going to be I can't see actually right now. But there we go. We're going to see half-time. The half-time whistle blown, and it is a tight affair. It's 2-1 right now.
I do apologise on that. The thing is, the teams are obviously set up to play Niagara away, Fairfield University at home, but they've gone and scrapped that, and Niagara are playing at home. Obviously, we're playing at Anfield, so it will be France that are away and Niagara that are home. So. It should be.
I don't think anyone's going to complain at you at all there, George. I certainly will not be.
So it's 2-1 currently to Fairfield University. Just
so coming back to Liverpool, because it's an interesting conversation, and for yourself as a Liverpool fan, I'd be interested to hear another voice on it. I personally feel like Liverpool lack a plan B, both in terms of their backup players and also their play style.
Sure.
How do you feel?
100% agree. Obviously, we've got a lot of players out injured currently. Diogo Jota is a main part of that. We brought him in, obviously, in the summer, and he obviously has gone out injured, which is a little bit unfortunate because he was on such a hot streak. He was scoring the majority of our goals. Maybe another chance here for Fairfield University to get a shot on goal. It's Mbappe stepping and can't quite find the shot. Virgil van Dijk does well. But yeah, I feel like the thing that we always have a lot of problems with is signing big players. Not big sub-players, just big players in general that are willing to sit on the bench if they have to, because we just lack the depth in the squad. And a chance here, finds a shot, but Mendy blocks it away. So I feel like what Liverpool need to do, I heard Jamie Carragher talking about it the other day, Liverpool need to go out and they need to sign some good players, not players that would sit on the bench, players that can make the starting 11 competition, people that can come in for Mane, Salah, Roberto Firmino, and just give them a break, because they're just playing week on week on week on week, and they're not getting a break at all.
They're not, but this is a break for Fairfax. They look for their third goal and they find it. Griezmann with another dainty chip.
That was absolutely beautiful, to be fair. The bridge touch, Griezmann obviously with the finish. Really nice stuff. Fairfield 3-1 up now against Niagara. As, it's difficult for Niagara. They're obviously struggling here, but they have had quite a few number of chances. Lloris has been doing really well in net to keep him out, but Fairfield are defending really well, I've got to say.
Going back to Liverpool, I completely agree with that, with some of the points there. And it felt like last season was the time to pull the trigger on a couple of big transfers. You could have had maybe a Haaland or someone like that coming in, and you're on the back of a Champions League win, your first Premier League title, and actually that was your moment. Instead, who do you pick up? Players like Minamino. Yes, Jota's been decent, but is he really that S+ tier sort of player that Liverpool could have signed? Probably not. And then, of course, that game against Everton, Thiago, yes, he goes off injured, but more crucially, you lose Van Dijk basically for the season, and he is clearly being noticeable by his absence. Meanwhile, yet again, beautiful turns from Griezmann, looking for yet another goal. He's working absolute magic in the area. I
think the problem is, and it's something that a lot of the Liverpool fans wanted to see, is Timo Werner come in. A lot of people wanted to see Timo come in, but obviously we didn't have the funds to do it. Now, that is a question that I would ask the owners if I could. Is that true that we do not have the funds? Because obviously you see
not so much.
The Red Sox, they signed what was it? I think it was a $1 billion something ridiculous, like a £100 million contract with one of their baseballers over the course of like 5 years, something ridiculous. And it's like, well, if you can afford to give that as a contract, why can't you afford to put that into Liverpool Football Club? You know, obviously baseball is an American sport. It's something that FSG put a lot of their money into. But at the same time, I do ask if they are putting the same amount of money or the amount of money we're getting in back into Liverpool. So that's a big frustration of obviously a lot of fans. We want to see these bigger players come in. There's a chance here for Mbappe stop like Cricketa. Beautiful. That is going to be 4-1 now to Fairfield University, and they are looking absolutely fantastic in this game.
Dominant performance ever since that early goal from Niagara. Fairfield have come out swinging, to borrow the MLB statement, and right now Handles of God needs to find something, otherwise it's going to be the handover at the halftime period, being with a 3-goal deficit. Niagara definitely don't want that against their near rivals.
It's karma. It's karma for him not turning off the in-game commentary. But seriously, obviously, 4-1 down going into the second leg. It's going to be very, very difficult.
Sure is. That was a big, somewhat clumsy-looking header, but it's not going to be a foul that is blown. Instead, Kante finding the dispossession, much as he did so often in that title-winning season with Leicester. Mbappe now breaking forward, as we know and love this player for, forcing the save out of Alisson. And frankly, I would say Niagara very lucky not to be 5-1 down there. Perhaps they will be after this corner.
Yeah, we'll see if I can get another goal here. Ball whipped into the area, and there's the header. And that is going to be 5-1 now. It's Paul Pogba at the near post. And, oh my word, this is an absolute statement from Fairfield. Obviously, these two teams very, very close in terms of the table. But currently in this game, very, very far apart in terms of skill.
It's fair to say. Fairfax, Fairfield. I used to know someone who lived in Fairfax. It's the first thing that keeps coming to mind every time I look up at Fair on the top of the screen. But yes, Fairfield, of course. My apologies to all involved there. Playing excellently in this game. They certainly look like they're going to have a comfortable aggregate lead going into the second leg of this match.
It's hard to get out of your head. My friend had a Dungeons and Dragons character, and his name was Kincaid, and all I could think of was Darian Kincaid from the movie The Bodyguard, and I kept on saying it, and he was like, "Nope, I'm not doing it anymore," and he deleted the character, and I felt so bad because he was so happy with this character, and I just completely ruined it for him. But I know the feeling. Sometimes you just can't get it out of your head, no matter what you do, and you keep saying it, and yeah, it's a difficult one. But Fairfield currently winning 5-1 against Niagara University, playing really well, but here is potential chance for Niagara to get one goal back. It's Sadio Mane, can't get the shot off, will give it to Roberto Firmino, and that is a case of Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to EGFC Season 2. My name is George Overton, George GNC Overton, and I'm joined by Stan Greyheart Barker as we had an absolutely hellacious game between Fairfield University and Niagara University, 7-1 to Fairfield.
Yeah, hellacious from Fairfield, hell for Niagara. Definitely not the aggregate score they'd want to see coming into this second leg, which we're going to get to see in just a moment. Earlier on tonight, we had St. John's beating down William and Mary. To end off our stream, we'll have Marquette going up against Xavier. But right now, we'll turn our attention towards the second game as Niagara desperately try to climb back after a big fall.
Yeah, there it is. Obviously, we've got another game coming up after this one. We've got another series coming up after this one, and then we will be finished for the night. But we have 3 more games to show you guys before we head in. So, without further ado, I think we're just about ready to get underway with this Fairfield versus Niagara one. The players obviously just getting into game. I'm not too sure what 2 teams we're going to have, but I think it's going to be Liverpool on one side. I'm not sure about the other side. But I am very excited. Obviously, I don't mind Liverpool on FIFA. I think they are a good team to pick. Obviously, you've got the pace in the defence, you've got the pace in the attack, you've got some decent players in the midfield to kind of set up that attack. But I think the one thing you are missing is those meta players. You know, a 5-star skill or a 5-star weak foot player that you get from Neymar and Mbappe.
Yeah, and just the sheer pace as well that we saw from Mbappe, and somewhat surprisingly from Griezmann as well, who I don't think should be outpacing someone like Imani, but he certainly looked like he could in that game. It's going to be Liverpool versus Manchester City. Try not to get too triggered, my friend.
I'm not triggered. I'm kind of confused. I'll be honest. Man City's a weird team to pick. They haven't really got a great defence. That's for a start. The wing backs are all right, but the 2 centre mids, centre backs are pants. The midfield
do they generally run Laporte and Diaz, or is it Stones?
Laporte and Diaz, probably Laporte and Stones. But I would run Laporte and Diaz because Diaz has a bit more pace than Stones, I think. The midfield ain't too great either. To be honest, you know, you got Gundogan, but he's really, really slow. And he's not used
Let's
very
be
often.
honest, he's a lot better in real life right now than he probably is on FIFA.
For sure. Did you put him in
He's
Did you put him in your thing?
In my fantasy team, I did, and I made the decision to captain him at the last second as well for this week. So his performance earlier on in the week has netted me a rather lot of points and put me in with a chance of winning some money in my fantasy football leagues, which makes me a happy Stan. However, he does look like he's yellow flagged and potentially not going to play in the second game of this double game week. So might lose out on a few there if he doesn't play against Everton. But frankly, the damage already done for my rivals after an incredible Gundo performance. I got on the Gundo wagon nice and early, and the Gundo wagon is starting, but it's actually Mahrez bringing the ball through, trying to find the early strike, unable to do so as we see this battle between our current Premier League champions and most likely our up-and-coming ones.
Yeah, true. Obviously, Man City had a bit of a down year last year, but bounced back straight away. The players had a bit of a rest. They had a bit of a break. They obviously brought in some new players as well, the likes of Ruben Diaz, Fernando Torres. I'm not. Is it Fernando Torres' name? I'm pretty sure it's Fernando Torres.
Ferran Torres.
Ferran Torres. I'm not sure. I wanted to say Fernando, but I was like, that's Liverpool's old striker.
Fernando Torres. Have you seen Fernando Torres lately? The guy's like absolutely jacked now.
He
looks like the Incredible Hulk. It's amazing.
He looks like the guy that you go into a gym and he tries to sell you gym membership.
He is that guy, but I definitely think he's been missing leg day, unfortunately, which is a bit of a yikes for a footballer. Still, we're going to see Liverpool break forward. The ball has been entirely in their half so far, so an opportunity to finally counter-attack as Liverpool do so well. Salah finding Alexander-Arnold down the right-hand side, looking for Firmino, who's making a break inside. Instead, it's going to be Salah who has the ball played towards him. It's going to be Silva, of all people, breaking that one up, finding Foden, playing the ball back down to Raheem Sterling. Sergio Aguero, notable by his absence in the Premier League recently, trying to play the ball inside but unable to find Cancelo.
I think that's the one thing about Liverpool, again, that is quite hard to play with them on FIFA. The one thing Liverpool rely on quite a lot is obviously the wing-backs coming forward. Chance here for Foden. Can he get the shot off? One of the best youngsters in the world currently. Can he make his stamp on this game? No. Robertson has done enough, but can he win the ball back? Lovely little flick through the nuts of Robertson, but cannot quite find the required chance, the required shot, as Liverpool look to break down the other end. No.
Phil Foden, or as FPL Dave calls him, Phil Foden, not quite able to find the goal as much as he has been in real life lately. I definitely was not regretting my decision to go Gundogan instead of Foden recently, but he certainly feels like he could pop off at any moment if he survives the wheel of Pep and that roulette that is the squad selection for Man City.
Well, that's why Man City is so strong. It's because they have the depth.
Exactly.
They have such a great amount of depth in the midfield. Obviously, you've got De Bruyne, you've got Gundogan, you've got so many decent players. You've got Foden. They have heaps and heaps of amounts of players, which makes it so easy for them. And they're all high quality, very, very talented players. You know, you've got Gabriel Jesus. He's sitting on the bench or he's playing. You've got Mahrez. You've got Sterling. There's so many. It's absolutely crazy how many good players and what a position for a free kick here.
KDB has the option, but it's going to be the little chip into the volley, blasted into the wall. Nice sneaky plays coming out of Man City there as they try to break down this Liverpool defence so far without any great success, but they've certainly had the majority of the play.
Yeah, definitely. They have had a decent amount of play here as they come into the box, Man City. A little bit of a skill run from Foden once again. And, like I said, that's the one thing Liverpool need, is they do need that squad depth, which they really don't have at the moment, to be honest. You know, we're relying on youngsters coming in to rotate for the squad, and that just isn't healthy.
Yet again, the breakthrough. Aguero finding KDB, blasts the ball straight into the hands of Alisson. I do really like the way that Pep Guardiola rotates, but I think that you've seen in the last 2 years the difference between a well-rotated team. Yeah, it's going to be a penalty. I believe that's Gomez giving that one away. Scored in the first game, gives away a penalty in the second. And it's going to be a penalty probably to be taken by KDB. Yep, there he is. Man City struggling with their penalty takers in real life. KDB obviously a bit missing with injury. He always scores his penalties, as he does there.
Yeah, exactly. And it was a nice penalty. It was a nice bit of build-up play, and it's just showing that Fairfield really are a complete team now. They know what they're doing, they understand what they're doing, and it'll be interesting to see if they can challenge St Paul's. Sorry, not St Paul's, St John's. St John's at the top of the table as they obviously look to go deeper into this competition. And so far, they are looking good though in this game. Niagara obviously close to top of the table, middle of the pack really in this tournament as well. So they're firmly cementing themselves as the above average middle of the pack team.
Very true. Just to go back to the conversation, because frankly, I'm really enjoying this one, but I'll have to pause it for a moment because Liverpool breaking through. Firmino finding himself acres of space on the right, but he cuts instead side straight into Nathan Ake's path. And it is actually Ake at centre-back, and he does good work there. Aguero finding De Bruyne. There's so much space out on the right-hand side. Riyad Mahrez, another former Premier League winner with Leicester, blasts the ball just wide of Alisson's right-hand post.
That's another thing that I was going to say, but I didn't say. That's the one thing Liverpool do suffer with is on FIFA. Obviously, Liverpool in real life, they attack with the wing-backs coming forward. And if you do that on FIFA, you're going to get so many holes. So many holes in the back, so much room for players to come through. And as you can see, another overlap for Mahrez hits the bar.
Crossbar.
But, you know, that's just going to happen again and again and again. As how has that not gone
Kept
out?
in. Well, that's magical that stayed in, but it does eventually go out. It's for a throw-in in the end. One that Raheem Sterling, of all people, will take. Plays it inside. Aguero looking to cut inside now, finds himself a corner. Yeah, Robertson definitely missing in action on those last couple of plays on the left from this Man City attack. They're coming through again, trying to come down their left-hand side this time. Almost an own goal as the clearance comes through at the last second.
Yeah, well played. And it's going to be another corner, though, for Fairfield. Whipped in, cleared away.
It's all Fairfield at the minute.
Oh, it is. It is the most one-sided game, I think, we've seen in terms of possession and in terms of attacks, I'll be honest. It's just so difficult.
It's only led to one goal is somewhat shocking, actually.
Oh, it is. There should have been more than one. Obviously, Mahrez hitting the bar. Mahrez having a few chances. Foden now on the ball. Can he get in? No, he cannot. We'll go for a goal kick in the end.
Couple of minutes until half time, but we keep getting interrupted by some exciting plays, and that's great because that's obviously what we're most interested in. But, and in fact, here comes another one. Riyad Mahrez breaking down the right hand side. He's got company on the inside, chips it beautifully onto Aguero, who buries the ball into the back of the net. Fairfield 2-0.
It's going to be a double-digits aggregate game, I think, for Fairfield. Obviously, 2-0 up. They only need one more to make it double digits, and Niagara still sitting on that one goal in the aggregate scoreline. Obviously, got the penalty in the first. Oh, sorry, the header from Joe Gomez in the first game, and there is another chance for Raheem Sterling. Gives it to Aguero. Oh, great hand from.
He almost got a second bite at the cherry as well, but no, the ball goes out of play. It is, I believe, going to be half time. An enthralling first half dominated by Fairfield.
Yes, indeed, and the possession stats showed that 35% for Liverpool, and 0 shots. So they're going to switch up the formation, I think, just a little bit. Go to 2 CDMs. Don't know if that's going to help too much. I would probably go for the 4-2-4 to be honest at this point. Just send everybody forward, get everybody on. Obviously, as you can see, Liverpool really don't have that much squad depth. That is their main team, and then they have. Yeah. Just a bunch of subs, players that probably would get on the benches of every team in the Premier League.
Niagara, they opt into the 4-2-3-1. I mean, you say the benches of other teams. I mean, you look at someone like Minamino, who's gone and instantly having an impact over at Southampton, and I think there's certainly class in these players, but the fact they don't get the play time really hurts them. You look at someone like a Shaqiri or a Minamino who do so well at other teams. Yes, slightly lower rated teams, as we see. He had another great break from the volley, comes in, saved by Allison at his near post. But at least they get play time, and this is why I love Guardiola's rotation. The thing is, and you saw it last year, if you have a really good set of players and they stay fit and they don't have the injuries like you've had to Van Dijk and the like this year, then actually, that's the sort of team that can actually win a championship. But the second those players are gone and the stand-ins aren't at the quality or haven't got the match experience, that's where you suffer, and that's where Guardiola comes out top with his rotation. Foden finding rotations of his own, jinxing one way, and that does eventually get tackled by Alexander Arnold, his compatriot in the England under-21s for many years, now in the main squad. Ball breaks to Sterling, who finds Walker on the edge, looks for the shot, but the England right back unable to find the target.
That's one thing a lot of people are talking about is the what England midfield do you take? That is a very, very difficult question at the moment. In terms of the younger players, I think it was Maddison, Foden, and Grealish. I think were the like of the younger ones. We're not talking your Henderson and as such, but. In terms of the younger lads, obviously, I think those are the ones that you go for. I think definitely Foden needs to have a shout for England. I think Maddison and Grealish need to be playing for England at this point because they are still, they're still younger and they still have a long way to go in their career. They've still got that longevity.
Oh, something else, longevity, is the consistent attacks and the finishing from Aguero on the end of it. Fairfield have gone into double figures. They are 10-1 up on aggregate. Absolute dominance.
I think it's time to call this one. I think this one might be over. I think it's a situation of why are you still punching the man? He's already dead. Very much. I love that
old Simpsons moment. It was the classic. He's already dead. And unfortunately, that's probably true for Niagara, unless they can make something truly remarkable happen here. But that doesn't mean we're not going to get excited as the goals go in, whichever end of the pitch they may be at. Though I would love to see Niagara find one back.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see. There is a chip ball into the box for Foden, and the players just do not miss from there. Players don't miss those volleys. It's just too easy for the players in this FIFA.
You predicted this, George. You said there could easily be a double-digit aggregate win, and at the moment, that's what we are looking at, 11-1. That is a big old lead, and it doesn't look like the mass of aggression coming through from Fairfield shows any signs of abating right now. Foden trying to find the ball on the edge of the box. Not going to happen. Chance for Firmino to break now. Ake tries to close him down, but runs straight past the ball. It does get broken down just right at the last moment, as again, Silva in a more defensive position than you'd expect finds the ball. Rodri plays the ball out to Sterling. Can he keep the ball under control? Yes, he can, as he looks to turn inside. It looked a little bit like the player was caught there. Exactly what happened.
But I will say, in week 8, Fairfield were actually below Niagara in the standings of the table, and that should be a foul coming through. Referee says no, but I'm pretty sure there was no contact to the ball whatsoever. maybe a chance to pass down the wing here, just rushes it a little bit. It will be blocked, but now the run is going to be made by Alexander-Arnold versus Silva. Should have the pace advantage here, but Silva keeping up with him does well and actually wins the ball back.
Yeah, Silva has played an astounding game, somewhat slightly out of position, I would argue. Alexander-Arnold feeds the ball through, tries to find the header. Firmino is unable to do so, and yet again, counter-attack for the side in blue. It's going to be Aguero feeding the ball, chasing after the ball, fed through for him yet again by KDB.
Yeah, it's difficult. It's really difficult for Niagara. I don't really know what's happened. Whether they've just, they've come onto FIFA 21 and they're kind of just they don't really like the game. They're not very good at the game. I'm not sure. But Fairfield, who were below them in the standings at the week 8 standpoint, and I'm pretty sure, but looking at the results recently, are still behind them in the standings. Fairfield are just destroying them, dismantling.
Yeah, this seems very much to be sort of men against boys in this game, and at the moment Niagara struggling to keep a 5th goal out in this second leg. Yet again, De Bruyne with the fancy feet finds himself so much space to shoot, eventually pulls the trigger just as the defender comes across to block. Again, the opportunity for Wijnaldum and the rest of Liverpool to break. Maybe they can find a goal here in the last 10 minutes of this matchup.
This looks like in Ultimate Team terms, Weekend League, this looks like a Elite 2, maybe 1 player playing against a Gold 3 player. I'll be honest, it is really big gap in terms of skill, in my opinion, in this game so far. The 30 games you get to get Elite 2 or Elite 1, you need 25 or 27 wins, and to get Gold 3 you need 14 wins in total. There is a massive, there is a big golfing class, and I don't want to be rude, I don't want to keep saying it, but that is just the fact in this game. There has been a massive golfing class.
I see it in Twitch chat and I see it on the pitch as well. Fairfield have come to send a message. That message is they are absolutely here to play. They are looking to close in on the top spots in this league, and with performances like this one, there's no doubt in my mind that they may well have the ability to.
Yeah, I agree for certain. They are looking really good, and well, it will be interesting to see. There is another chance. It's going to be Aguero. He's going to go for the chip, and it's going to go straight onto the roof of the netting. But that should be the full-time whistle. That is going to be 4-0 to Fairfield, and that will be 11-1 on aggregate.
That is your lot. It was a one-sided affair at the end of the day, which, not exactly what we want to see, but commiserations to Niagara. Congratulations to Fairfield. A real showing of dominance here. Even using this Man City squad, one that isn't something that we maybe see quite so often in these FIFA games.
Yeah, we don't see it very often, but he's performed well with it here. Maybe not as well as he did in the first game, but he's definitely performed well nonetheless, and that will be a considerable 11-1 win for Fairfield University, which is very nice. But obviously we've got one more game to come up tonight. It's going to be Marquette University versus Xavier University. It's two of the teams that are, they're doing decently in the league. Both of these teams, Marquette second in the table as of week 8, and Xavier University currently sitting on 3 wins, 4 losses, and Marquette sitting on 6 wins and 2 losses. So obviously a big gap, but coming into the new FIFA, can they potentially pick themselves up some sort of result?
Well, I think we are going to take ourselves a short break. When we come back, we'll find out whether or not Marquette continue their run of dominance, or maybe XCOM give it to them.
I'm from Chicago.
Cleveland.
Phoenix, Milwaukee,
Hartford.
Colorado, Oklahoma,
Thailand.
Norway. Cameroon.
and I chose
I chose
I chose Xavier University.
for business.
chemical science.
We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men, for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to EGFC Season 2. We are here for the Marquette versus Xavier University game. My name is George GNC Overton, joined by Stan Greyheart Barker. We have a fantastic, lushing luscious looking hair over there. This side, that side, that side. Wow, look at him in all his glory. But here we go, we're ready for the Marquette University versus Xavier University game. It should be absolutely fantastic. It's one of the top of the league sides going against one of the bottom of the league sides, but it is a new game. These two teams have not faced each other since the new game has come out, so we shall see if anything has changed, if there are any changes in the players, and yeah, I'm quite excited for this one actually.
We had a top against bottom sort of matchup in William and Mary versus St. John's. Yes, it did eventually go in favour of St. John's University, but the underdogs William and Mary absolutely made a fight of it, taking an early 2-0 lead even though they were to slip behind eventually. In our last match, Fairfield absolutely obliterated Niagara, and now Marquette against Xavier. That's the way we're going to round out the night, and I hope they're good games.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. It is going to be a pretty decent game. We've got some interesting teams coming out as well. It's going to be France versus Bayern Munich. Obviously, France, we do see them quite a lot. Mbappe, Griezmann, Ben Yedder, Kante, Pogba, Lenglet, Varane, Mendy, such insane players on the game. And then we've got Bayern coming in this time. Lewandowski, a bit of a change in pace maybe. Maybe going to put the ball into the box more. Maybe going to look to get it on Lewandowski's head. But you have got so many options with Bayern. You've got that aerial threat with Lewandowski. You've got the pace threat with the likes of Leroy Sané and Kingsley Coman. And you've got the solid defence as well. There is a lot of defensive players that are very good at Bayern. You've got the likes of Kimmich. You've got Boateng. And you've got obviously the two left back and right back. You've got Davies, who is an absolutely insane prospect for the future, by the way.
Yeah, Alphonse, absolutely terrific player. Just to help out my very easily confused mind, am I right in saying Marquette will be France and Xavier will be Bayern?
Correct, yes, that is true.
Fabulous. Good stuff. That gives me a little more clarity coming into the game. I'm sure I'll forget at some point and it will go horrifically wrong. Hoping it doesn't go horrifically wrong for either of these two teams, though. We want to see it nice, closely contested. See if Xavier can pull out some kind of upset here, and it's exactly what they're going to be looking to do.
Yeah, exactly. But Marquette coming into this one, obviously the fan favourite, or sorry, the bookies' favourite, I think is safe to say. And Xavier probably going to be the underdogs' favourite. You know, they got everybody cheering them on. You know, come on, Xavier, see if you can get a result. But we should be ready to get into this game. We're going to be at the Paris Saint-Germain's home ground, France's home ground versus FC Bayern München, and we'll see how they get on in this one. And already I am seeing there is a bit of latency issue between these two players, but obviously that is something that the two players will have to put up with. And I have seen that we are having the problem that we had last week with the widescreen TV, where the scoreline, yeah, it doesn't quite line up. But we'll see if we can sort that out at some point.
I've got you covered while you do a little bit of production values, as you're doing a great job there, Georgia. We do see already the French team on the attack, looking to find the early goal, unable to thread it past that back line of Bayern Munich that you were talking about. A back line that I'm well used to seeing playing against me, because when we do Football Manager drafts, one of my friends always drafts at least 3 of these Bayern Munich back players up against me. We're just going to see a nice free kick coming in, courtesy of an offside play. France looking to break forward, trying to find themselves the early goal. Ben Yedder dispossessed by Boateng just as he breaks into the box. A crucial tackle to get right there.
Yeah, I do apologise, obviously, with all this stuff going on. It is rather difficult to reassert it, but it seems like we're having a few stream issues also on the back end of that, and I don't know if we're actually going to be able to have the in-game overlay for this game, and the Twitch channel has actually gone offline. Fantastic. What else could possibly go wrong during this game? But hopefully we can come back to you and get that fixed at some point, because it is Marquette versus Xavier, and yeah, it wouldn't be an EGFC stream without a few technical difficulties. Oh dear. But either way, hopefully we can bring that one back to you guys as soon as possible. And
I mean, as you said, there were some latency issues. We saw them straight away. Can't speak on behalf of the people who were there, but you know, whether it be an internet provider issue or some local weather variant, could be the problem. But it does lead to us having to take a bit of a pause in the action for now, and gives us an opportunity yet again to discuss, well, frankly, whatever we want.
exactly whatever we want, and that's the thing. And I think while we are on this subject of Bayern Munich, I think we do need to talk about some of their younger talent, because obviously they have it in abundance, don't they? Let's be honest.
They absolutely do. In fact, both the top couple of teams over in Germany at the minute, between Borussia Dortmund and Bayern Munich, they have some absolutely outstanding players for the future to look at. Here in this Munich team, there's a few that certainly catch the eye, and one of them actually for me is something of a surprise. Obviously, having come over from Arsenal, Serge Gnabry.
Yeah, he's been fantastic. Obviously went to Werder Bremen, then transferred over to Bayern Munich, and he's now one of their starting players. He's absolutely fantastic. And the thing is, they've got really good backup in that as well. They've got Koeman and they've got Sané too. So they've just got it all for wingers, and they're all relatively young, so they've still got a lot of career ahead of them. And in a way, Serge Gnabry does kind of remind me, all their wingers, they're just giving me, the Robin and Ribéry kind of thought. They're young, they're coming in, they've got a long time to play in their career. Are they going to be potentially the future of Bayern Munich?
And going back to that Robin Ribéry era almost, it was one of the first times that we started to see gegenpressing coming in. It was the entire team working hard all the way across the pitch, and it's something that's become more and more dominant in European football ever since those glory days. And yeah, I think you're absolutely right. They certainly do have some similarities. Are we seeing a restart of this game?
We are seeing a restart, yes. It's obvious that we're having a few problems with this match. There is extreme ping delay for both players.
Yeah, I'm just seeing some of that. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, that is very rough. And we'll see if we can get that sorted. Obviously, once players get into game, hopefully we can bring it to you. But right now, there is obviously, as you guys know and saw, there is a large latency delay for these players. Obviously, America's a lot bigger than the UK, right? So,
really? Is it?
So if I was playing against you, it would be like, we'd both be like, oh yeah, we've got really good connection. Even though you're kind of like, you're a long way away from me in terms of England's size. But then in America, if you was on the other side of America, I'd be like, our ping would be completely terrible.
I mean, it says it all that we have one time zone, and we're only in a tiny fraction of that one time zone, and I think there are 6 or something like that across the from west to east coast of the United States. So yeah, it's certainly a little bit trickier to deal with there to get yourselves a good solid connection. I do believe it's just going to be remade with exactly the same teams that we saw last time round.
It will be indeed, and it's going to be France, Bayern Munich, and it's going to be swapped around this time. So it will be Xavier playing as Bayern still, and it will be Marquette playing as France. It will just be on the other side of things, and they're just sorting out their players and stuff, and then they will get into game. But we are going to quickly head to a quick break so I can sort everything out, and then we'll bring you straight back into the game's action. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into today's final game here for EGFC Season 2. It's Marquette versus Xavier, and we are straight away on the attack. I'm sorry we've brought you right into game. We have had a few little technical difficulties, but it will be Marquette playing as France, and it will be Xavier University playing as Bayern Munich. But here is an attack for Kylian Mbappe early on in the game, and he's absolutely rifled it into the back of the net. Marquette will be taking the 1-0 lead 6 minutes into the game.
An Mbappe goal on FIFA 21, I've never seen such a thing. Absolutely, absolute scenes. Yet again, it is going to be either France or PSG that dominate the early part of possession, and it is going to be Bayern Munich who now have to fight their way back into this game. It was always going to be a big ask for Xavier University, and it's going to get even harder now.
It will get even harder for them. It's going to be a very difficult game for them, but we shall see how they get on. Obviously, Marquette very gratify. Obviously, a very decent player at the game. We've seen him play. There was a big upset between them and William and Mary last week. And we'll see if that can happen again. But obviously, Xavier, 1-0 down currently. Kingsley Coman coming forward, gives it to Müller, potentially one of the players of the year. He was one of the candidates, but didn't get into the team. Gives it to Goretzka, one of the players for the future, one of those many Bayern Munich players for the future.
Leon Goretzka has an amazing right foot on him when it comes to long passes, but Thomas Müller wasn't able to use his right foot efficiently and find the back of the net. Mbappe tried to use his left slightly better, but the sliding tackle is enough to prevent a second Marquette goal.
Whipped into the area, cleared away by Manuel Neuer.
Oh, yeah.
good little bit of good handwork from the German. And still on the attack, though, France. Obviously, Kingsley Coman playing on both sides of the teams today. And Mbappe, how has he found the back of the net there? How has he found the back of the net? He's absolutely drilled it, and it's gone through every player's legs in that Bayern Munich defence. It's 2-0, and it's Mbappe again.
What do you think about the teams that opt into not being PSG or France? Is it slightly stubborn-mindedness? Because you've got the opportunity to play any team you want. It's not like you have to own these teams. Everyone gets every team. Is it questionable in your mind that we don't see just PSG versus France more often?
No, I think it's I think it's one of the ones where you look at it in League of Legends terms. You know, you see a player pick an off-meta pick. It's because they think it's strong personally, and they have a personal, you know, they think it brings something different to the game. Exactly. Whereas the likes of Bayern Munich, I still think they're very competitive in terms of playing against France. If I was asked France or Bayern Munich, which one do you want to play, I would obviously say France, but I would also be like, but I can play Bayern Munich if you want me to play Bayern Munich. They're a good team. They have a very good defence, have a very good attack, but they do not have Mbappe, who is through on goal once again. Can he find the finish? He goes to the lofted chip, and he's put it in the back of the net, and it's a hat-trick. 24 minutes into the game, Marquette have a 3-0 lead already.
What an outstanding start from Marquette, from Kylian Mbappe yet again. Feels like we say that all the time, and I stick by my point. I think that if this were a real-life football match between Bayern Munich and France, I think I'd favour Bayern Munich. You've got the team with full synergy, trained together each day rather than just occasionally. However, of course, the synergies do not work like that in FIFA, as Mbappe yet again gets onto the end of a pass from his countryman, finds himself a fourth goal in 28 minutes, averaging a goal every 7 minutes in this matchup. What do you say to that then, George?
I'm not too sure, honestly. I think you'll have to give me a minute. Griezmann taking the shot fluffs it a little bit. Neuer will save. But 4-0, 30 minutes into the game. Oh my word. Obviously, Marquette lost last week to William and Mary. It was something like, what was it? It was very close. It was 4-3 on aggregate. Very, very close indeed. But I will say they are coming out here for vengeance to prove the point of they are one of the best teams around. And 4-0 very, very, very early on into this game. Xavier, oof, I would be fuming.
Yeah, they're not having the nicest times in this first half, but they are looking to try and make a bit of a counterplay work. You can see on the top middle of your screen that there are still severe latency and ping issues for some of these players. Xavier maybe are just struggling a little bit with the timings. Always hard to do when you're almost having to second guess things a second or so in advance. Marquette making full use, however, of every single advantage they can, and why shouldn't they? Griezmann looking to try and add his name to the score sheet, successful in doing so. It's 5-0.
Well, in FIFA, you tend to have the 3-0 quit rule, and in pro competitions, you tend to never quit. But honestly, if I was 5-0 down in the 37th minute, I'd just be like, nah, I'd put my controller down. I'd be done. I'd be finished well and truly. But in the terms of competition and sportsmanship, hopefully Xavier do stay and do complete the game. Shot blocked from Mbappe, goes out wide for Coman. Can he get it in the middle? Okay, 6-0. Yes.
And honestly, I think our biggest signal for exactly how tough this is for Xavier, especially with latency, came in that goal. We barely saw any of that goal because we're seeing things from their perspective. And so, actually, yeah, this is very tough for them to deal with. And fair play to Marquette, who are just taking the ball by the horns. They find themselves a 7-0 lead. And I'll tell you what, I have a friend of mine whose son has started watching these streams every now and then, George. Don't know if he's out there right now, but I know for a fact that this is the sort of territory where his parents would need to be buying him a new controller right now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, and I would have been like that when I was younger as well. I mean, until
when you were younger, George.
Until 2 or 3, potentially, I'd say 2 years ago, I was still smashing controllers up. I was still throwing my controller across the room. My dad would come in and he'd be like, "What's going on?" I'd be like, "I'm losing a game." "I don't care. Shut up." Mbappe 8-0, and it's another goal.
Oh
dear.
That wasn't quite the "how you doing, son" meme, was it? That was
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, how are you doing, son? Smashes.
Well, my
Get
controller's
out!
in roughly 8 million pieces, and I'm swearing at my parents, so not great, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
That's dominance. Let's be perfectly honest. Whether it's the gap between France and Bayern Munich, whether it's the gap between Marquette and Xavier, whether it's the gap between the internet qualities, I'm not here to say that, but that was an impressive showing.
Yeah. I'd say that's fair to say. I don't know what level of play Kratify is playing at, but it's difficult to say because when you're winning 8 or 9-0, I would definitely put this in terms of a player that doesn't play the game versus a player that is at a high level of FIFA. It's difficult because 8-0 is such a ridiculous scoreline. I would not expect a Gold 3 player to lose 8 or 9-0 to a top 100 player. Mbappe somehow misses that, but this is absolutely insane.
Yeah, a rare moment of inaccuracy coming through from the Marquette team there as they find their striker once again in the opposition area. Chance here for Xavier to break. Let's see if they can make a little bit of a play, but a nice quick dispossession of Varane, and that's no longer an option. Instead, it's going to be Mbappe once again running at the back line. Does get slightly caught, finds the advantage, will find the free kick.
Yeah, it's just difficult because I play people all the time that a very high level of the game, and then I wouldn't even lose by this amount. But I'm not, saying that I'm a pro player by any standards. But this is what I would see in terms of, a world-class player playing against somebody that hardly picks up the controller. I do not know what Kratify's level of skill is. This is just ridiculous. Yeah, and
a huge amount internet based. I mean, I can't say it enough. If you're dealing with a 1 to 2 second lag where we're not talking milliseconds, we're talking properly one player's passed and then actually you're seeing a pass from 3 seconds before. You can't deal with that. You can't play in those conditions. So maybe that's the sort of thing that's happening right now for the Xavier man.
But both of these players should be dealing with the same that same thing because it's peer to peer. So they should both be struggling with the connection if that were the terms. If it was server based, then it would be one or the other. But it is peer to peer on FIFA. Right. Still, ball whipped into the area should be an easy save. But fortunately, no matter how bad your connection is, the AI will still control your goalkeeper for you.
Meanwhile, this is an opportunity to test the Marquette goalkeeper. We saw the one claim coming through from, I believe it's Lloris, however, not tested on the second one instead. Just has to test his kicking out, and it's actually going to lead the Bayern team to put France in a little bit of trouble. Yet again, they deal with it smoothly, however, as we enter the last half hour of this first leg.
Yeah, obviously, this is a bit of a mugging, I'll be honest, and it's just outright, ruthless. It's ruthlessness. They're not giving up. Marquette, Kratify. Let's just keep going and keep going. Baby Bolt's obviously already probably come to terms with the fact that this game is not going to be a W. It's looking like an L, but Marquette just keep going and keep pushing and keep attacking, keep scoring goals. It's demoralising at this point.
Back the production curtain a bit. Some of our viewers you've probably twigged to the fact that we're broadcasting from the UK. It's actually just coming up towards midnight over here, as again Marquette push forward trying to find their 10th goal of the game. So is this the end of the night after the stream for you, or have you still got plans?
I'll probably go over and play some games of League of Legends or something like that, and the stream has gone offline once again, so not too sure what happens there. Remake, quick, get it round. It's like the Excel Fnatic game in the LEC all over again. But either way, obviously Marquette currently winning 9-0. I'm going to quickly throw it to a quick break, and we'll be right back to see if we can get the stream back up and live. So don't go anywhere, guys. Go grab yourself a drink, and we'll be right back. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to EGFC Season 2. This is going to be the second game in this series between Marquette and Xavier University. Unfortunately, lots and lots of connection and stream issues on the players' end. So the first leg had to end as not a disqualification, but as it's a win for Marquette, because obviously they were winning by such a large amount, and obviously the issues that were going down. So we're going into this leg, and obviously if it happens again, we'll obviously have to call it, but we're going to try the best we can.
Well, we are seeing two teams that I've not had the opportunity to cast on stream in terms of the clubs that have been picked. We've seen Pierre Montecarcioni, better known as Juventus, going up against Everton, which is a surprising one for me. Ronaldo going to look for the free kick, going to force the save early on.
I think that's one of the first chances Xavier have had in the series so far. And okay then. Well, Xavier have got themselves a goal back through Cristiano Ronaldo at that near post, and that is going to be 9-1 on aggregate?
Just to check, I think that was Marquette that scored.
Oh, was it? No, it was Xavier.
I thought Kratify was Xavier's.
No, Kratify is from Marquette. That was Xavier.
In which case, fantastic news for Xavier. Maybe this is the beginning of a massive comeback, and this could be the story to end all stories. But Marquette trying to make sure that is not the case. Coming forward, Lucas Dean, we saw him earlier on for France. Now in his home team colours, it's going to be Dominic Calvert-Lewin, edge of the box, finding James Rodriguez. Calvert-Lewin not quite able to bury it on the first effort, but the second time he makes no mistake.
I will just say, Marquette University are the people with the internet lag. The ones that are struggling right now, with obviously the delay and stuff, and somehow they're still winning by 9 goals. I don't quite know what's going on, but here comes Paulo Dorbala. Good defensive play from Mina as well. Obviously, Everton's an interesting one. We have seen Juventus be played in EGFC a few times, once this season, I think, this split. But we haven't seen Everton yet, which is quite interesting to see.
Certain licensing issues, of course, so FIFA not allowed to use the J word, but we are going to see the G word as a goal comes in. It's going to be Allen for Everton.
Well, there you go. Xavier have got themselves another goal. Oh, sorry, Marquette University have got themselves another goal, and it's going to be
baffled. Yeah,
exactly. Officially baffled, rattled, but obviously the licensing issues. Juventus belong to Pez at the moment. I think it is.
They can't even appear in Football Manager. I think they're replaced by Zebre or something like that in Football Manager. It's a bit of an unfortunate situation, but I think we're going to get more and more situations like that. Even some of the players now coming out and saying, we're not giving you permission to use our identities. We didn't sign any of these contracts. James Rodriguez, World Cup Golden Boot scorer of previous years, puts a nice effort in. Is going to be the corner taken quickly by Everton. Marquette looking for their third goal of this game after conceding early on in the first half.
Well, unfortunately, I think it's something to do with the contracts that the clubs signed to the league, and the leagues signed to FIFA in order to use the player faces and stuff like that. So not really too much they can do apart from that. And there is a chance that will be a penalty, actually.
It is going to be a yellow card coming in. I believe that was Yerry Mina giving that one away. He's going to lead to that big old open stance for Ronaldo as he looks to bury one home, and does so with style and panache.
With a panache indeed. And there you go, equalising up at 2-2. Obviously, the first game firmly won by Marquette, but we're going to take this leg as a fresh standpoint. Currently 2-2. The first game was won by 9-0. Safely by Marquette, but obviously this game currently 2-2. Very difficult, obviously, for both teams, but here we go. Bernard running it down the wing, gives it to Calvert-Lewin. Has to go back to the core and try and break down this defence a bit further. Could have potentially gave it to Richarlison. Back out wide for Allen, and they're really breaking this defence down very well. It's Bernard. Is he going to take it first time? Cuts back inside, goes for it on the right foot. Good block from the centre-back. I think that was Cuadrado, not the centre-back, actually.
Still 2-2 in this second leg, a much closer affair between Xavier and Marquette. Really, both of them performing slightly differently in this game, especially Xavier, who are actually very much the ones with their foot on the accelerator pedal, trying to take the lead in this leg of the tie. Instead, it's going to be the counter-attack. James Rodriguez finding my... He's sort of my boogeyman when it comes to fantasy football. Every time I have him in, he gets injured or doesn't score. Every time I take him out, he's incredible. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, I hate you, but in the nicest way possible.
I think James Rodriguez is a very special player. It's unfortunate that he hasn't had the greatest of years with Madrid, and he did pretty decently at Munich, but didn't really break out there. But at Everton, he's been given the chance to shine, and I think he is doing really well for them.
He certainly is something special. I'm sure you'll be saddened he's on the wrong side of the River Mersey this season. Alan.
I don't really mind. I'm not one of these people that are like, oh, I hate Everton. I'm just a football fan. I think more than anything. I think that's the important part. I am a football fan, and I like it. Even if they play for Everton, even if they play for United, I'm happy to admit when a player is good. I'm happy to admit when a team's playing well. And I think that he is doing really good things. And I think Everton are building something very special over at their end of Merseyside. But either way, coming straight down, the attack is Richarlison. Looks for the pass to Calvert-Lewin, but he might as well have passed it to himself, as that was not a very good pass by the Brazilian man.
Strange one. It was almost like a failed bridge without a player in the way. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. It's going to lead to the opportunity for Xavier to counter-attack. However, the ball's played behind for the midfield. And now Dybala and Ronaldo trying to have a little bit of interplay. The ball breaks through, and it is going to be Yeremina on a yellow card, but able to make a secure tackle this time round as Ronaldo tried to find the finish.
Indeed, they are. And 2-2 coming up to half-time. Very, very interesting. It's good to see, though, as much more competitive than the previous game. Obviously, providing the teams are a golfing class, I won't lie. But obviously, Piedmont Calcio, Juventus, they are not the only team in the Serie A that have been taken out of the game and put into a different game. Roma are not in FIFA 21.
Oh, really?
They're called Roma FC. It is Roma, but it's not Roma. You know, they've got the name
Roma, but not as we know it.
I'm pretty sure it's called Rome, not Roma. I'm not sure, but I think the stream might have gone down once again. No, it has been saved. It has been saved. Thank goodness for that. It's just a little bit of buffering. But yeah, a few changes, a switch around at the back, and that's one thing I think Everton need to improve on a little bit is their defence. Obviously, they looked so good at the start of this Premier League season. They were at top of the table at one point, and their fans were saying, this is the year we're going to win the league, finally. But obviously it didn't last too long. Yeah, definitely. I think it was 6 games in or something like that. But either way, you know, it was a good start to the season for them, and I think they're going to probably try and fight for top 4. It's going to be difficult because they've dropped quite a lot of points recently.
I think realistically it's going to be a top 6 game. I think it's going to be Europa League. That's got to be the aim at this point. Meanwhile, in this game, they're looking to try and refine the lead. Dominic Calvert-Lewin breaks through, and despite the attempted save, it is going to be enough to see a 3-2 lead to the English club.
There it is. Very, very nice. Little bit of play, unfortunately. Szczesny could not get enough of a touch on it to keep it out of the net. And we will see the 3-2 lead coming out for Marquette University.
How on earth is Wojciech Szczesny the Juventus goalkeeper? That baffles me, if I'm honest.
What is that?
That baffles me even more. That's going to be a terrible, terrible Alisson-esque mistake. 4-2 to Everton.
I can't believe you just said Alisson-esque mistake. A lot of people are forgetting he is still he was one of the best keepers in the world. He might be having a bad season, but he was still one of the best keepers in the world. I think he still is. I think he still is as well, but he's just having a few hard games, a few mistakes. Obviously, the dressing room's probably a difficult place at the moment, but obviously, like you say, here is a chance for Arthur running through on goal. The strike, great save from the Everton keeper, Jordan Pickford.
Lead to a corner, opportunity to score another goal from a corner here for Juve. They're going to head over on this one as Giorgio Chiellini not able to direct that ball downwards. No, I'll be perfectly honest. It was said completely tongue-in-cheek. I believe Alisson to be top 3 goalkeepers in the world at the very least, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. But at the end of the day, people judge you on your most recent games, and the last 2 have not been good ones for the Liverpool number 1. That being said, is very, very unfortunate. I think that's that lack of communication with the new centre-back that caused that absolute howler on the last weekend.
Oh yeah, for sure. And one thing I do want to come back to, I want to pick your brain on why you find it surprising that Szczesny is Juventus' goalkeeper.
I mean, I don't think he was up to standard when he was at Arsenal, which are a team that I generally consider to be worse than Juventus. So to see him at one of the top teams in Italy, Do you think so?
Yeah, I think 100%. I mean, just watching. Obviously, he moved. I think he moved around quite a bit since he left. He left Ansel. There was a chance though. Can't quite put it in the back of the net.
In the back of the net, and it's not.
I think it was Kulaszewski. I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think he's Ukrainian.
Oh, man, I really wanted that to lead to a goal. That was a lovely passing manoeuvre. As we talked about goalkeepers, it was
Look at Alan go.
Under a bit of pressure now as Alan breaks through. Lovely sliding tackle comes in. Buys enough time for Alexandro to find Arthur, but yet again, Richarlison passing the ball inside the two South Americans, linking up with each other beautifully. Rodriguez showing his class as he tucks the ball inside the net after tucking inside the net.
Well, there it is. It's Rodriguez, that man we spoke about, the man we love to hate and we hate to love, scoring another goal. And well, it's been very well played from Marquette. Obviously, aside from the connection issues, Xavier obviously struggling quite heavily, but you know, that's something they've had all season. They've been struggling to get any firm standing in the league. And another shot coming out from Bernard, quite saved by Szczesny, and now they look to build out from the back and potentially get themselves an attack.
I mean, Juve are a team, so going back to your earlier question, that I always think of, I think of them as roughly top 10 teams in Europe, generally speaking, and I don't consider Szczesny to be a top 10 goalkeepers in the world, and that's why it surprises me, to be perfectly honest. But you know what, he's certainly having a fairly decent showing in this game, having done much better in this second half.
I don't want to say who is your top 10 keepers in the world, because that's obviously a very difficult question, but
I mean, I'll give you top 3 nice and well, top 2 for sure, Neuer and Allison now. I could say that without hesitation.
Really? Neuer and I would this very moment I would say Neuer and ter Stegen.
I would put ter Stegen in my top 10. Not sure he'd make my top 5. I know he's had a couple of shaky moments, but I still think David De Gea is top 5. But right now we've got to talk about the Everton keeper. I think it's Jordan Pickford having to make a save and doing so.
I don't know about that. De Gea's still been top 10. I think ever since Spain lost the World Cup, well, he had a poor World Cup with Spain. I can't remember how long ago that was now. That was like, what, 4 years ago? 4 years ago now?
No, I think, yeah, maybe coming up to 3 years, I think.
Yeah.
So 2.5 years, yeah.
Oh my, he had a bad time. And ever since then, he has been awful.
You see, again, I personally disagree with that, and I think it comes back to what we were saying about Alisson. He's had 2 bad games in much the same way that David De Gea had probably 3 bad games at that World Cup. And at the moment, people will be thinking of Alisson from his current mistakes. And David De Gea, I think, actually, mostly pretty steady. I don't rate the back 4 in front of him, and Man U still keep a decent number of clean sheets. So, yeah.
I still think he makes a lot of mistakes. I think that's the issue I have with him. Whenever I watch a Man United game, which isn't very often, I always seem to see him making, quite a lot of mistakes.
The thing I don't like about De Gea is that he keeps Henderson out of the team. I wish Henderson had gone back on loan to someone like a Sheffield United, because he was absolutely phenomenal with them last season, was developing so well as a player, and he's basically been a cup keeper this year, which is less than I believe he deserves. In terms of Premier League keepers right now, you can't look past Emi Martinez. I mean, you've got to say Arsenal kept the wrong keeper there, I think.
I agree. 100% I agree. Obviously, it's a lot of pressure on Arsenal because they bought Leno. Ooh. They bought Leno for a fair amount of money, I'm pretty sure. Something like 20 million, I think it was. So, they're in a lot of pressure to keep him, but I personally think I agree. I think they've kept the wrong goalkeeper.
But I think that's where you can have respect for... I mean, personally, I don't have respect for a lot of the transfer dealings that Chelsea do, but they've spent, I think, a world record amount on a keeper in Arud Balaga, who was, frankly, absolutely garbage at times. And they went, okay, it's not working. Mendy, in you come. And even Mendy, I don't think, is going to be their final solution to that one. So at least they sort of looked and went, yep, messed up on that one, as big as the transfer was, and they sort of... they've corrected that one, and I think that the same probably needed doing for Arsenal, but didn't. But you know what? Mikel Arteta knows a hell of a lot more about football than I do, so let's give him credit. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, same for me. But there is the end of the game. Fantastic result for Marquette University. They've done really, really well in there. I think that's 14-2 on
I believe so.
overall now as we head back in here, and we're going to look to wrap things up today. But a 14-2 result for Xavier against Marquette did really well. We'll quickly go over the scores once more from today's games. So we had William & Mary versus St. John's University. St. John's University picking up the win 8-4, and we had Fairfield versus Niagara. Fairfield picking up the win. I think it was 10-1 or 11-1 in the end. And then obviously Marquette versus Xavier. Marquette picking up a tidy 14-2 victory. It's kind of crazy to say, but in total, what a fantastic week it has been. Obviously, aside from the last game having a few minor connection issues, what a fantastic game as always. Stan, thank you very much for joining me, Mr. Greyheart. You can follow him at Greyheart99 on Twitter. You can also follow me at George Overton _ on Twitter as well. And as always, guys, hopefully have a lovely rest of your week. Big thank you to EGFC, obviously, for putting this tournament on, EGF. Hopefully you all have a lovely rest of your evening. And remember, come back for next week's Monday action. I think we have Super Smash Brothers on tomorrow, so make sure to come back for that. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, have a lovely rest of your evening. Have a lovely rest of your week, and we'll catch you next week for some more FIFA action.